We need to pull some Holdo maneuvers.
This is where the fun begins.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Holdo Maneuver. I'm Mark.
And I'm Mike. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves in Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening and or watching, in this podcast we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away. So this week we have two very special guests joining us.
We do.
The beef. We found it. We found them. We found the beef, Justin and Gyorfi. Welcome.
Howdy. Hello.
And we also
Wasn't it Wendy's after all?
Yeah. And we also have returning guest Stanford Clark coming back to join us. The only one of us that attended one of the things we'll be talking about in this.
So we're all going to leave, and he's just going to talk.
I'll just blah, blah, blah.
It'll be the Stanfordo maneuver. But before we get going, I think the beef had a question for us.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys know about this, but like, I heard this thing about why did a stormtrooper have end up getting an iPhone?
Can't think of anything he'd want to miss out on.
You read the article that only heroes use iPhones.
Maybe it was those cool dancing campaigns they used to have. Really spoke to him.
Want to be on that Star Wars Dance Revolution thing?
Yeah. That's right.
No, it's because he couldn't find the droid he was looking for. Thank you. I'm going to be here all podcast.
You're going to be the whole podcast, yes.
Try the beef. Yeah. That's where you get the cricket sound effect.
I was queuing up something different. I missed it.
That's all right. You get a fart sound effect for that one. But yeah, guys, welcome. That too. You can get some soup. Or I was waiting for the Jamie Tart one, but I think that's loaded up on a different themed.
Don't have it.
Yeah. Well, welcome Stanford. Welcome Justin. Thank you for joining us again. This is episode 78 of the Holdo Maneuver. And for this episode, we're talking about San Diego Comic-Con 2024 news, as well as the D23 Expo, also from this year, 2024 news. Stanford, you were at D23 Expo.
Yes.
So before we kind of get into the rundown of Comic-Con and D23, what was just like your overall? How was your overall experience going to D23? Because you've been there a couple of years.
Yeah, I haven't been to the last few, and it was intentional because it was COVID and stuff. Even though they still had some of them, but the last couple times I went, they were just a mess, just horribly run, super crowded, and a lot of interest, and they had a lot of cool programming, but it was just such a huge hassle. However, this year they made a significant change, and Marcus kind of shows a hint of it because he's wearing his awesome Ducks shirt. But so they had the show floor and the panel presentations that they normally do at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is just right across the street from the Disneyland Resort. But the big change they made was they had their big presentation sessions that they made big announcements with movies and parks, etc., at the Honda Center where the Ducks play, and you got a reserved seat, so there was no pain in the butt 6-hour queues. They opened up the doors like an hour before, and you went to your reserved seat, and they did the show. So, and if you didn't have a reserved seat, there was no standby line, so you couldn't get in. And so I think
hit the bricks.
I think that kind of made, exactly. I felt sorry for everybody who wanted to get a ticket. I just feel like I just absolutely lucked out. So anyway, but it was the change of getting the reserved seats at the Honda Center that made me decide, I should give this show another try. And it was fantastic. Disney just did a really great job this round. So I had a great time. The interesting presentations, which we're going to get into, maybe some better, things. Not all news was welcomed by Disney fans, but I had a great time, and kudos to the D23 team. They did a really great job this year.
Nice. Yeah, some of those I think you and I will talk about on a different podcast.
Yes,
revolving
exactly.
around animation.
That
we may have a fascination.
You and I have this mutual fascination.
Yeah, I don't know where people would go to find that.
Where would go?
But
that's a scam site.
.net. Plug for this,
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Exactly.
Also, how we talked about that other sound effect too. I don't know where people would go if they wanted to see more stuff about talking about that or anything.
It's the way.
Well, these jokes only work in a video format, by the way. So if you're just listening to us, welcome. But yeah,
sorry.
Did they have a shuttle from?
Yeah. So they had multiple buses that you could take.
All right.
I had rented a car, and so I drove.
There you go.
And they offered free parking. If you had to show your ticket that you had a seat, but it just worked out great. I
Nice.
couldn't believe how well it worked. So at least for me, I don't know if others ran into issues or not, but I had a really great experience. And part of it too, you had to plan. Like I left the convention center typically like a couple hours before, even though it's only 2 miles away. We're one in Southern California, which is shit, just a challenge anyway to drive in. And but I just the planning worked, and I had a great time.
Nice. Yeah, because I was gonna say, years ago when they were still the Mighty Ducks, and it was the Arrowhead.
It was the Arrowhead Pond.
Yeah. Same place, just
same building. Yeah.
They had shuttles from downtown Disney.
Cool.
Well, it's no longer ESPN Sports Zone, but from that
when it was,
they had shuttles from that to
you could go to a game.
Arrowhead to see Mighty Ducks games when they were the Mighty Ducks, not the Anaheim Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks and
similar
Disney
logo,
them, right?
Yeah, similar logo.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's cool. And it seems like that worked out. So it seems like they'll probably keep doing stuff. Like that.
I would think that they would do that again, just because there was just so much more capacity, and just so you had a reserved seat because everybody wanted us to go to those big announcement panels, right, for the movies and for the theme parks. And back in the day, like sometimes they'd open up the line like 10 p.m. the night before.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing pictures of those with those people sitting.
You have to do this overnight crap,
and it's the tape line too. It's not even so those are a nightmare.
It's just a total nightmare, and I never waited in the overnight line, but I would go like at 4 or 5 a.m. And still even then I wouldn't. Sometimes I wouldn't get in. You wouldn't get in. You wouldn't get in the room. So this was huge. Again, I think the ticket buying process was a challenge, and I just felt. Honestly, it was just pure luck that I got in. I think because I waited for like 2 hours in this queue from hell, but the ticket queue, but still it worked, and I was like, well, I'll go and. Hopefully it's going to be better, and thank goodness it was because I kind of sworn it off. What's that?
Was Hades in the line then too? If it was the line from hell,
and Pain and Panic.
Oh, yeah. But, so that'll be a good segue because you said you never did the overnight one. The only time I've been to San Diego Comic-Con in 2010, I did it. I did the overnight line for Hall H.
For Hall H, yeah,
and.
Did you get in?
Yeah, because so that was I did. It was like Hall H and Ballroom 20 because it was the last year Smallville was there for the final season of that.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So like, we were waiting out there for that. Like the writers and like heads of the show for that final season walked by and thanked people for waiting. And then Cassidy Freeman, who people. May know as Tess from that show, or if you guys are Righteous Gemstones fans, she's on Righteous Gemstones. She's Danny McBride's wife on that show. She walked by and thanked us too. But that was
she looked familiar.
Yeah,
never clicked.
Yeah, I remember when I started watching Orange Gemstones, I was like, "Oh, it's Tess from Smallville." So, but yeah, that was.
Didn't see Smallville, so I didn't get that connection.
Now, if you go back, you'd be like, "Hey, look, it's Gemstone
Maybe
wife."
Yeah,
which is funny because their son on that show is playing Jimmy Olsen in the James Gunn Superman movie.
Oh, really? Also, it's all coming together, right? Or it all.
Yeah,
that's cool.
But yes, that was also that was 2010, so that was the year that the Avengers united on the stage for the first time in Hall H.
So you were in the room, Mark, when that happened?
Yeah, you can find a 240p video that I shot on. If you can find my Facebook page, I don't know if I made that video public or not, but it's a video I shot like in 2010, and it's
on your iPhone 4S.
Yeah, whatever iPhone model,
iPhone version,
2010.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now, and before we get into all the news there too, Justin, like, for how crazy have any of the cons that you've been to in Canada? How did Canadian cons compare to American cons?
Well, I mean, nothing compares to San Diego, right? That's the king of con.
It seems like they're getting crazier and crazier.
Toronto's definitely the closest thing, but it has more of the feel of like New York Comic Con.
Oh yeah, I've been to that.
Without, the AMC Walking Dead panels.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, it's kind of more its feel. The other ones that I've been to, I mean, I've watched one really grow and take over like the whole area, from being like a couple halls out of con to being the whole Stampede ground in Calgary.
Oh yeah.
And that's just it's a different beast than where it was. But at the same time, majority of the big cons here are all one company, and it's the same that it's Fan Expo.
Oh yeah, like,
so they have
like the Calgary
now a very like uniform feel to them.
Interesting. I think because doesn't FanX do the one in Salt Lake, Stanford?
They call it FanX, but they used to call it Salt Lake Comic Con until San Diego Comic Con
was like
sued them. Yeah,
you guys can't use
that. Mm-hmm. You can't use that name. So they changed it to FanX. I know that there's a local guy, his name's Dan Farr, who runs the one in Salt Lake, but I don't know if it's part of some kind of consortium, you know what I mean, or if it's any relation to our great friends, in the north, the Great White North. I don't know.
I know Fan Expo Dallas is part of this too.
Okay,
interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Okay,
yeah,
that's kind of cool. Mike's
majority Canadian big cons are all in it. Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, I think Vancouver, and then like the Dallas one too.
Just to throw Texas in there with Canada.
Yeah, might as well. It's basically Alberta, but south.
South Alberta.
Yeah.
And
we got Royal. We got 2 football teams. We've got Cowboys.
There you go.
It's the same.
Bret Hart.
I mean, we do have Bret Hart.
Yeah, it's one up.
Yeah.
Texas has Steve Austin. So
they also have like the Guerrero family and that whole Iron Claw family and
Von Erichs.
The Von Erichs.
Depressing family ever. God damn.
But got robbed of an Oscar nomination.
Yeah, Zac Efron should have got an Oscar nomination for the Iron Claw movie. But this is not an Iron Claw Holdo Maneuver episode. And last, before we get into the San Diego news, Mike, you went to
I've only been to Phoenix Fan Fusion once,
right.
And that was this year.
That was your first con. What was that like for you? And that used to be called Comic-Con too, but also it changed to Fan Fusion because of the same reason.
Because of San Diego. Yeah.
It was overwhelming, not gonna lie. A lot of people there. Yeah. Most of which were dressed as something I had no clue what the hell they were.
I know, right, Mike? I mean, the whole time I was just thinking, man, I'm so out of touch. Like, what are all these characters?
I mean, I
assumed that they were video game characters.
But I heard, and I thought it was kind of messed up planning wise. And I heard people say they changed the autographs and all that session, the way they had it set up, because that felt like a hot mess. That the area they had set up.
Yeah, like Justin was saying, like that con here in Phoenix is kind of like grown and expanded over the past 10, 13 years or so that I've been here.
It was huge because I was there too. It was in the same time Mike was. That was unreal. And those two giant halls, they were connected, but like across the street from each other, those buildings, and holy smokes, and so many people. It was amazing.
Yeah.
If people want to
I thought it was funny that the escalators kept breaking because of how many people were on them.
Well, they can't. An escalator can't break; it can only become stairs.
Well, tell that to the Phoenix Fan Fusion.
Yeah,
because they wouldn't let you go on the broken escalator.
Because they wouldn't. Yeah,
they should make a sign that just has Mitch Hedberg's face on it. That just says "Sorry for the convenience."
You're flammable and have legs.
Instead of caution, it says stairs, but like in the caution font, it says stairs. Sorry for the convenience.
No, it was a good experience. Only negatives were like that, where they had the meet and greet set up, and then the moderator for Adam Savage being like, "It's not going to sell out," and then they had to turn people away because it sold out. It's just like, you have no faith in people.
Myth busted.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah, and if people want to see that panel that Stanford was on, that Mike was on, from Fan
There's
Fusion,
3 of them.
That's on this channel.
Yeah.
On HoldoPod. But then those other 2 sites I already put down here earlier, those also have panels too for Animation Fascination and for RichmondWayPod.com. So you can check all those out. And Mike Stanford on both of those too.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, Justin could not make it down from the
I know, Justin.
I gotta get like that thing called a passport,
Nah, I think if there's any border that you could cross really easily, it'd probably be Canada.
Depends on where you do it.
Hey, just because I have accidentally crossed the border on more than one occasion doesn't mean that I plan to.
No, we do not condone illegal border crossing.
We can neither confirm nor deny that the beef has crossed from Quebec City into the United States of America, neither now nor in the past. So with that, San Diego Comic-Con.
Anyway.
And we have some breaking news. So there was the first thing. Yes.
Oh, it didn't fade out. That was annoying.
Nope, that's all right. So one of the key panels that was at San Diego Comic-Con this year was about this great show that all 4 of us enjoyed. I know we talked about it here on the Holdo Maneuver.
Actually, more people enjoyed it than didn't.
Yeah,
there's just too many
that's
people out there making too
that
much
is a
money.
good Star Wars theory to have. So there was several publishing projects that were announced, including Wayseeker, which is an adult novel by Justina Ireland, focusing on Vernestra Rao's journey about 20 years before the Disney Plus series The Acolyte, which nothing bad could happen to. There's also an upcoming young adult novel by Tessa Gretton featuring Jedi Padawans Jackie Lan. So you got the Jackie Jam hashtag and Yord Fandar hashtag Yord Horde, which is set to release in July of next year. So that
really make your head spin, that one.
Yeah, you make you feeling like you're Swiss cheese. Didn't really have a good segue for that one. Sorry. Additionally,
that's why I picked the one I picked.
You might feel like you've been 3-hole punched. There you go. Additionally, the Acolyte will receive a visual guide and an art book, which I'm pretty happy about that because still been waiting on like art of books for the Obi-Wan series for
art of books.
Just in general, like the art of books for.
I hope they show in the art book that concept art for whoever that little green guy was. I think that was old Grogu.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope they have a sketch of Manny's ass.
It won't be a sketch. It'll be like it'll be an actual chiseled rock.
Is it a pillow you can just lay your head on?
With it. You're gonna get the weirdest targeted ads now that you just asked that out loud.
Does it come with a 3D printing file of it?
There you go.
If there is, we will have to let our friends over at Trek Wars, Kenny and Aspen, know about that, so that they can have their wet boy pillow.
Wet boy.
Wet boy pillow does not sound.
Yes.
Yeah, you probably want to go incognito if you Google search that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, all this
do it on your parents' computer.
Log in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or log
do
out.
it under Michael Storm, but don't put the J in there. Just Mike knows what.
There's like 4 of them, so you can be careful.
Just put Soren Garage Door in there when you do it.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry. I just got thrown. Anyways, we're all that levity to be said. That breaking news sound effect we had earlier. Some pretty sad news that happened is that they decided not to.
Shocking though.
I guess depending on who you ask, but like. Yeah, they decided not to go forward with doing a second season of The Acolyte. So all of the worst parts of the fandom get to play the celebration gif from the end of Return of the Jedi because they think they won.
Yub nub.
So I guess kind of quick thoughts on this before we kind of talk about the stuff to look forward to about the Acolyte coming up.
I mean, to me, it's definitely catering to the shareholders because Disney had the pretty public battle with Ronald McDonald down in Florida there about
DeSantis.
Yeah, so that dragged on. They spent a lot of money. They lost a lot of money probably because of that. Then this show comes out, even though it's a great show, it was one of the better shows they've had. There was a lot of backlash because of subject matter. So I'm sure there was a shareholder meeting where they're like, you know what, you got to stop. And Disney, being publicly traded and liking money, catered to that fact. Why else would you announce all this Acolyte stuff and then, not happening now?
Well, and that seems weird too because these decisions aren't just like made like overnight. So it's like a weird thing because we'll talk about D23 in a little bit too because Manny Jacinto was there, and Manny Jacinto's birthday was yesterday, which was
happy birthday.
Yeah, there's also Ahmed Best's.
Happy birthday, Manny.
Ahmed
Your
Best's
show just got
birthday.
canceled.
Yeah. So yeah, I was like,
happy birthday, Ahmed Best. You're no longer the worst thing in Star Wars, according to the fans.
Yeah, Ahmed Best, awesome, and that's we'll talk about this too. They had a trailer for Skeleton Crew D23, so we'll talk about that in a bit. But I just hope people aren't going to be douchebags to kids. again. Because the majority of that cast of Skeleton Crew is kids.
You're young.
Oh.
They're youngsters. It's
Yeah.
Jude Law and a bunch of kids. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really hope people aren't going to be assholes.
They're not going to go all Jake
kids.
Lloyd,
Yeah,
treatment.
Yeah, because Jake Lloyd already had it pretty freaking rough 20 plus years ago. Almost 30 years ago now.
25.
Yeah, 25.
It's in the notes. 25.
Yeah.
There was a 25th anniversary re-release in theaters. Yeah. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I am also bummed by that too, because I mean it was a good show for also. It was good representation for a lot of people in Star Wars that we don't normally get represented in there, because it's usually a bunch of white dudes that are in Star Wars a lot of the times, or it's just the Skywalkers, which it was nice to kind of be like in a time period that literally the only kind of connection they had to any pre-existing stuff was old Grogu there at the end of the finale.
That's not true. They had what's his face there, who everyone thought broke canon,
but he didn't, because that was the first time Legas showed up in actual canon now.
Well, no, so, I meant Mundi there.
Oh, also Ki Adimundi, yeah, you had Ki Adimundi in there. But I don't know. It bums me out, and I mean, hopefully, because there was like the whole like when Disney bought Lucasfilm, how Clone Wars kind of unceremoniously ended, but then you jump forward like about 5-6 years, and we got that final season of the Clone Wars with Disney Plus. So maybe if people are vocal enough, but do it in a kind way, not in like a threatening way, where I've seen it be the kind way too, where it was just people posting stuff with like the hashtag thank you Leslie Headland, and that's been like trending today. So maybe if people just like keep it like in the conversation, but it's weird because I saw our friend Peter over, well, formerly /film, but who posted, I'm trying to find the exact thing because it was well worded. It was half the fandom is either toxic or hates everything. The other half of fandom that actually enjoys the stuff is slowly being trained not to get invested or care, because it's all going to get canceled anyways. Which,
it's not wrong.
Yeah. That like makes me bummed, kind of like, I was like, do I want to watch the Skeleton Crew still then? Because then what if I really like that? And then
it's going to get canceled, which is the threat with any TV show, right? But still, yeah.
I mean, look at Star Wars back in the 70s. They didn't work they just made great stuff, and then we had the dark spot, the dark period, came back, and everyone hated it.
Yeah.
Except for those who want to keep watching it.
Oh, and I think also we've seen, now that we're 25 years out from like prequels, we're starting up, like we've seen people's opinions change. Now, depending on which generation you are, still might say it's the worst thing ever, but I think people that grew up with those prequels too say otherwise.
They love them, yeah. And, Ahmed Best, who was also kind of up there with Jake Lloyd, right? With this total mistreatment.
We're like at the epicenter of people being jackasses.
Yeah, and
the dawn of the internet was not kind to them.
Yeah, and he's had a reconciliation and with fans and a really cool resurgence in the Star Wars universe. I think. But still,
and like Hayden more recently too.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah, like, and he's being welcomed back with with open arms into like Ahsoka and the Obi-Wan show and everything else. So I mean, I'm glad. It just sucks that like at first people had to be jackasses to these people, and then to take 15 to 20 years for them to realize that there was plenty of people that actually did really enjoy what they were doing, but I don't know.
Well, they latched on to the next thing they deemed the worst thing that's happened in Star Wars. So
yeah, because like every Star Wars thing could be someone's first Star Wars thing that they're watching.
Mhm.
But like the Acolyte could have been someone's introduction into Star Wars, and that's
It's a fun introduction because you come into it with no baggage to Skywalkers.
Mhm.
Really, you've got none of that. You get to see everybody loves now, like with Clone Wars, with how much media have we seen take place within that like Republic and era, and going in before that with the High Republic. It's something people want to see.
Yeah.
You know? It's another area that we want to explore, and it sucks that this project is lost. I know I personally had my issues with like some of the pacing through it, but I think it was also really great for expressing a different gaze than normal Star Wars has also done, or traditional Star Wars has done.
Right.
You know, I think I've talked to more female Star Wars fans about it, saying how much they really took away from it versus something that they would have seen from like the sequels or the prequels or even like Mandalorian or Boba Fett or Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had sent this to Mike earlier, which was so like what we have now that we're waiting for from Star Wars is, so we have Young Jedi Adventures, which is another thing taking place during the High Republic. That's currently running right now. That's like, you know, the preschool and animated series. And then we have the Skeleton Crew, which is coming out in December. Another Disney Plus series. And then Andor, season 2 of that comes out sometime next year in 2025. And then we have season 2 of Ahsoka that's in development. And that's all of the series that are like that we currently know about. And then outside of that, we have the Mandalorian Grogu film that's already started filming a bit. That comes out in May of 2026. And then all the rest of these are still in development. There's the Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, which is the James Mangold film that takes place like way even before the Acolyte.
I can't wait to hear how it breaks canon.
Yeah,
it's going to be amazing.
It can't break canon if it happens before all of the other things.
No, it's going to break canon. It's going to build the canon and then break it in front of us.
Yeah, and then there's the Star Wars New Jedi Order, which is the Rey centered film that takes place after the sequel trilogy. And then we still have that Taika Waititi Star Wars film.
That'll never happen. I'm sorry.
Well, just because they never formally canceled the Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy that he was developing too. It's just kind of quietly isn't being talked about anymore. Just like the 2 or 3 times that Patty Jenkins has come back to do the Rogue Squadron film.
Yeah.
And it seems like that was going to become, she was going to do it again. And then that's like quietly, no one's talking about that again. So I don't know.
I do want to point out that there was one more Star Wars thing that we know that's coming out.
Yeah.
That's that Star Wars Lego.
Yeah, the Lego. I'm glad you brought that up, Justin.
Oh, yeah, we have the animated.
That's coming out like
Darth
Rebuild the Galaxy.
September or something. I can't remember. It's this fall, I believe. This
September 19th or something like that.
They showed a clip of that at D23. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Rebuild the Galaxy. It's basically like a Star Wars What If.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think, personally, they should do more of.
Yeah.
That should be a Star Wars animated series that we get.
Yeah, I would like.
Those have been so much fun. Haven't they just been a kick? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get the Scarif Beach Party with Weird Al.
Right.
Still, I think our most watched episode of the Holdo Maneuver is about that special.
It's the Weird Al and Legos combined. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. And we have the Star Wars Outlaw video game that's going to be coming out soon as well, too. I think from us recording this, I think it comes out about a week
My only question about that is, why does a robot need a duster?
I mean,
Why not?
ask Mac. Why not?
Computers don't like dust. Oh, get a duster.
It just wants to look cool. A duster really has no functional value other than making you look cool.
Do you think
he just wants to look cool?
Oh, go ahead. Oh, please. Sorry.
I was just saying he wants to look cool. I'm going to get Stanford a duster for Christmas.
I need all the help I can get. So I'll take it. No, I just wanted to ask you guys was it ultimately the toxic fandom that killed the Acolyte? I mean, did that contribute? Was it all associated into ratings? Since we really don't know the ratings,
I mean, they had the leaked stuff where it was like the third most watched Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, there was some stuff when they hit some big numbers. Was it just? Yeah, I mean, what's your take on it?
I just think that shareholders.
All three of us talk at the same time.
My take is it was a toxic fandom combined with the political nature of the U.S. right now. Scared the shareholders, and Disney isn't making as much money as they normally do. So
I also would want to say marketing. It becomes down to a marketing thing where the brand of the Acolyte has been kind of tarnished, because if you start searching up it, you get article after article of bad faith or purposefully bad faith headlines that will go into then something because it's clickbait, and then you hear that continued outrage, echo chamber of online discourse, and your Google Analytics for Acolyte is going to be tanked too.
Yeah. So yeah, like the review bombing certainly didn't help. Like when people review stuff and say that it's crappy 3 weeks before an episode is even aired, that's obviously a good faith review of something that you somehow watched a month before it got put out. Sylvie agrees. But I don't. Yeah, because I feel like that doesn't sway people that are gonna watch this stuff anyways, or like people that enjoy Star Wars and don't watch it just to pay their mortgage because they have to specifically hate on it because that's the audience that they built. But then like general audiences that may have been curious about something,
they don't watch it.
Yeah, but then they'll go check and be like, oh, like they'll go to Rotten Tomatoes, which Rotten Tomatoes isn't really like a good thing to check anyways because it's like weird aggregated data, and they don't have any way of like sourcing or
you can just go in there and
doing like the audience review. There's not like a way to like verify those.
You'd be better off like a Metacritic review looking.
But even like that,
I like this, but I'm review bombing.
All these places, like people know all these places now. Like a place I go to find like some of the art to make some of our thumbnails and stuff. Sometimes, like even there, that stuff, someone has gone in there to like the review part of that page, and it's like review bombed Acolyte. Or if you go to IMDb or literally anywhere you can leave a review for something for TV shows online, they've found those places and they've gone and review bombed the hell out of them. And it's usually, if you look up the type of shows that are done like that, it's usually going to be a show that's going to not star a white dude as the main character in it, or a white family as the main character. Yeah, or it doesn't have a straight white dude as the main character. Then it'll probably be review bombed by very specific people that are usually, as I say, with 4 straight white dudes on this panel
and a baby.
Yeah,
we're the perfect demographic to speak on the issues of race,
color.
That's right.
LGBTQ,
LGBTQ rights,
Yeah.
Any other minority groups, depiction in media. Who else?
Ask this panel first.
Yeah,
That's right. I'm here first.
Yeah.
I also think Disney, because you kind of saw them experimenting with it, releasing episodes of series in theaters and things to feel they were testing the water.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
did a
going to
little bit.
switch to like
Ahsoka too.
theatrical releases before streaming, because they shelled out how much money for Acolyte? How much did they get back?
Yeah, that's interesting too, because our friend Dakota did kind of a breakdown on it in his video as well too, as like a bonus thing with like related to their budget. And the budget of the show is basically equivalent to, like, with inflation, to that of Attack of the Clones, which, if you think about it, is actually a better deal, because Attack of the Clones is like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hour movie, and
the Acolyte is roughly 7, 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a better deal for the price they paid for it.
It's a bummer. I mean, I think we all like the show. I just appreciated that Lucasfilm
made it the first
different take on a lot of these stories and myths that we love in Star Wars, and it was ultimately, I think, just a really interesting show, and but it wasn't like a happy feel good show, and I know there was also
I was happy and felt good. What are you talking about?
It was lighter and inferior than
but
I
it didn't need to be. You know what I mean? It's just say, because that's what made it so interesting. And again, it's just, I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but it's just a bummer, that we're not going to get more of that. I mean, I we'll just have to see how things roll. But go ahead, please. No, after you, Mike, please.
I was going to say, like Mark mentioned, I said they should just go to the thesaurus, look up a synonym for Acolyte, and release a show called that, and it's just the same thing. See what happens.
Right. See what happens. It's a bummer.
Yeah. And I think as we segue too, is like the last thing to note there too is that Andor season 1 is a similar critical darling as far as like critics' reviews of the show had similar viewing numbers to it as well too, like pretty close to the same thing. And that's a whole like other discussion for a different time about like streaming and how they are still using the old model of metrics from broadcast television to correlate that to streaming, which is not like it's like an apples for oranges thing. It's like this, you can watch it anytime. Usually most of these things will either drop at midnight or at like one specific time for that episode, whereas like
all at once, just do it.
And I mean, it's Marvel, but that didn't really help Echo with that either too. So I don't know.
Well, there was some other issues there.
But another show that got review bound because, again,
I've suffered from, with Marvel specifically, just trying to keep up every month with something like movie show.
That was hard.
Like,
yeah.
I think have that kind of time.
I think that's part of it too. With just the streaming stuff, is that at first when Disney Plus came out, it was more of a get as many things produced for this as possible.
Well, because it also was right before COVID.
It's
like a year before.
We're talking now like the breakdown of the mentalities of management style of the two different Bobs.
Yeah, Chapek.
Yeah, good point, Justin. Yeah, absolutely.
And then the pullback from Iger coming back in, and what that means with I mean, we don't have any actual inside information. We're not stockholders that have a high enough percentage to be involved into the meetings for stockholder meetings. We're not their voting board members on things. But like, you can definitely see that there was shit that went down and lots of change ups. Has it been Warner Discovery bad for change ups? No. But I think it's just where we're at too with the consumption of media is at a completely different stage of what any of these companies are prepared to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping it doesn't get willowed on Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh, right?
Or Mighty Ducks Game Changers
just disappear.
The Quack Attack is gone, Jack.
It ain't back.
Yeah.
I blame Bombay.
Weirdly, there was a off mic discussion that was Star Wars Mighty Ducks related that we had at one point on this podcast, but I will not talk about that because it was off mic. But so all that to be said, I'm excited about this art of book and these additional stories that we'll get for these characters, because it seems like maybe if that stuff sells really well, maybe they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe we should do more.
Maybe they'll have like they used to do record burning events where angry fans buy a bunch of merchandise and then burn it to show.
Hey, you still bought it. You still bought it. You still bought it.
I need every one of you angry fans to go out and buy one of the Acolyte Sith helmets.
Yeah,
actually 2 of them, and
those sold out. Those sold out in less than 24 hours. That's like what? Like even stuff like this didn't sell out in but Acolyte has stuff selling out in less than a day.
It's because of the teeth.
Yeah, the teeth, the zipper,
the torsus, man, the rare element.
Yeah, you got to use it so you can headbutt lightsabers. So, speaking of the High Republic, also at San Diego Comic-Con, the final phase of the High Republic series is kicking off with a comic called Fear of the Jedi by Kevin Scott. That era will also be explored in the Art of Star Wars: The High Republic Volume 2, which I think if you've watched an episode of this in the past, you might have seen Volume 1 behind me in the past, which covers the concept art, character sketches, and more from the multimedia project, which I've liked, because Star Wars has done this before, like Shadows of the Empire back in the day, doing like the small multimedia projects. Whereas at least with the High Republic, they hadn't done any like film or TV for it up until the Young Jedi Adventures, or now the Acolyte. So again, hopefully, if like enough people like show that there is interest, like in buying like the Jackie and Yord book or the Vernestra book or the Art of book for this stuff, maybe they'll be like, oh, see, there is money in this. Maybe we can at least make like an Acolyte movie or like a special presentation or something where it's like, I don't know, something.
Continue like the story in a High Republic animated series that's like a Clone Wars style animated series.
Yeah.
And then that's even easier for your cast to come back.
Yeah.
Manu doesn't have to, to be. I mean, he can be if he wants to be, but he doesn't have to be.
He doesn't have to do all that. Yeah.
He's a live action character.
Yeah. It's like Roger Rabbit, but he's the Roger Rabbit.
That feels like something from The Good Place.
Yeah. Just get Pillboy in there from aka Casey from the TVA. Get him in there to help out. That's what we'll do. And it's funny. What another thing was that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con? It's really weird. It's like the Acolyte was like this very popular show, and they were developing all this stuff for it. Kelnaka, the Wookiee Jedi Master from the Acolyte, is getting his own one-shot comic, Kelnaka #1. This will be a comic that Mike will be picking up because his favorite character from the Acolyte. It will also feature in the ongoing High Republic series. Yeah. Well, now he'll get used to the umpteenth degree in.
I'm just gonna buy it and burn it, and then buy another one and burn it. and complain about how it sucks. Even though I never
Rage.
read
Oh man. Hey, and guess what? Star Wars collectibles and panels for that. Hasbro revealed new figures. Guess what one of the figures was? You guys are never gonna guess. Vernestra from guess what show?
What?
I think it's called
with her whip lightsaber.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna buy it and hit it with a real whip and do it again.
You know, somebody would actually probably pay for your OnlyFans of that.
I know, right?
I mean, that's
oh my gosh.
definitely how the wet boy.
That's where I sell my High Republic brand smoke product.
Patreon goal. We get if you get $1 million sub, you get to get that footage.
Only Manny's. Only acolytes.
Yeah.
Only
APA.
Pelagus. Only Pelagus's.
Acolyte Patreon agency.
I will say, even though I am sad about the acolyte, there was a good dark humor meme of it's the scene from Revenge of the Sith, and it's Palpatine asking Anakin, he's like, "Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" And Anakin's like, "No, they canceled the acolyte after season 1."
Too soon.
No, that works.
It does. It works. It's like, yeah. We're not gonna know, at least in this format.
But yeah, all that was all the San Diego Comic-Con news. It's strange how it was very, very, very focused on the acolyte. Like, also there was, like I said, there was an acolyte panel at D23 as well.
Yeah,
with Manny Jacinto, the birthday boy.
Yeah, and I think Manny was there. I think he was signing. He was there for he was signing stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know what.
I would have brought my good. Mike left because he needed to go get Manny's signature. Quote unquote.
Right.
You wanted to help him hold the pen?
Yeah. The pen is never mind. The pen is pen 15. That's all I'll say. Anyways,
okay, Michael Scott.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait, and we'll come back to the Skeleton Crew trailer after Mike comes back from being with Manny Jacinto. So we had updates for Ahsoka. Ahsoka continues to be a major focus with new details teased about the ongoing series and the second season for that. The panel discussed the deepening narrative and what fans can expect as the series unfolds on Disney Plus. I'm really interested to see who takes over for R.I.P. Ray Stevenson in this show.
Yeah,
we know we've been campaigning for Aspen from Trek Wars to take the place of Ray Stevenson.
There was a great outfit at Fan Fusion. That guy could have done it.
Oh yeah, I took a pic. I think I gave that dude a Holdo Pod sticker.
You did.
I was like, this is a great costume, and he's like, thank you, and I was like, and here's the sticker. So
yeah, I think I was there for that too, Mark. I think I saw that.
And sir, if you are listening or watching this after you saw that sticker, and you're like, I'll go to holdopod.com. Hello,
welcome.
That was a
great. See you.
Yeah, but not really. But we do. But not really. But we do.
He probably hated the acolyte.
No, because if he liked Ahsoka, he liked the acolyte. Because it seems like the same people that were complaining about very specific things about Ahsoka made those same complaints about the acolyte, and it was usually
I have
somebody that
about
wasn't.
Ahsoka, but I liked the acolyte.
But your complaints aren't probably about very specific gender sides of Ahsoka. And it was always like, why can this lady use the Force? Not why can this dude use the Force? But zombies. Speaking of zombies, we're gonna go back to Skeleton Crew.
Zombies.
So
the cranberries.
Hey,
just gonna let it linger.
Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
This is the way.
What if the Goonies in space? What
Do
if
they have data?
Stranger Things in space? What if Max Rebo had a kid? And that
What
kid
if
was
another
cute as
Jedi
hell.
survived Order 66?
Oh, good point.
Hey, it's Elfie. He's just on holiday.
Execute Order 66.
I mean, you know, fantastic Jedi and where to find them.
Anyway.
Anyways,
And then that wand for a lightsaber.
They had the Star Trek visor in the Skeleton Crew preview.
Yeah.
Good old Reading Rainbow there. What's his name?
Jordy. Well, LeVar Burton, the actor, by the
Yeah,
name
LeVar
of
Burton.
Forge, you know.
Yeah, Lando would love meeting him. But the younger version of Lando, specifically.
the Donald Glover.
Yep.
Yes.
Although he did tell Pierce one thing, he never wanted to meet him.
But I feel like that's over once they, went on their ship and
Their sailboat.
sailed around the world and then got captured by pirates.
Off the coast of Tampa or something like that.
What did you guys think about this trailer? Now, Stanford, did you get to see this like on a big?
I did. I got to see it on. They had this gigantic, digital screen there at the. This was at the Honda Center, and yeah. So they showed it, and it's the same one that's you can see on YouTube. But it was cool to see. Jude Law was in the house. This was part of what they called the Disney Entertainment Showcase. So that was Friday night. It was on August 9th of D23, and they were highlighting movies and Disney Plus shows, basically. And then a handful of other TV shows. Like David Blaine was there. He's doing some show for National Geographic. And dudes, it was like 20 minutes of this car. Everybody got a deck of cards when we did this card trick together.
And everyone's like, God damn it.
It's just like, it was kind of
real
interesting.
Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so literally Jude Law was on. I swear he was on stage for 90 seconds. But still,
David Blaine was there. He kind of got out of town.
Yeah, David Blaine took all the time.
He was like, I ain't doing these card tricks.
But so they show the Skeleton Crew, and Jude Law just came out and just like, this show's gonna be great. It's just you were saying, Mark. It's Amblin. It's it's the Goonies meet Star Wars and or Goonies in space. And anyway, I thought it looked cute.
This seems to be John Watts' vibe.
Yeah.
It did feel very 80s Spielberg, Justin. But yeah, this is what John Watts. That's why he didn't come back, or why he didn't end up doing the Fantastic Four film that Matt Shakman is doing. But yeah, he did the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Well, the 3 Spider-Man so far.
The 3 Spider-Mans, yeah.
Which fits that vibe where it's kind of like 80s teen kind of thing. What did you guys think of the visuals and stuff in this? Because it was interesting because it's like a Star Wars sci-fi of suburbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one thing that stood out to me was the houses. Hadn't seen those in Star Wars. Tangible, that's like my house.
Yeah.
The Star Wars suburbs. You're saying, yeah.
Which I'm okay with that. And I guarantee it's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're not complaining about it. I'm guaranteeing someone else is gonna complain about it though. Just because
I was throwing because you hear Skeleton Crew, that title when they first pitched it, and they gave out
Where
like
are the
Jamal and
skeletons?
very little to no details given out. I was like, picturing something more not, Goonies in space. But they have the chance to do the best thing and give us an ET alien in there.
It could.
That'd be awesome.
He's part of Star Wars.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah,
that is canon.
That cat is trying to give you a tesseract, just so you know.
Yeah, something like that.
Get the flirkin out of here.
Yeah, the flirkin.
Mother flirkin. Yeah, I thought the visuals of this were pretty interesting. Like you're saying, like the
player.
What?
Is that the piano playing elephant dude from?
Oh, like the one kid that kind of looks like Max.
Yeah,
that he looks like
Max Rebo's son.
Max Rebo's kid.
It goes from cute to Max Rebo.
Yeah, that kid's gonna sell a bunch of stuffed like animal figures from the.
Wouldn't that be great
online?
If the Disney Store releases its own LeVar Burton thing, and it's just like exactly the same.
They need that, but then they need like Lobot's back one and just go
connect
full
it.
head.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's called the Apple Vision Pro, which Disney probably has like a good stake in that anyways already.
Right.
That's great. Now available on Disney Plus and Apple Vision Pro. Which like we're saying, I'm cool with that too, because like the Star Wars galaxy is huge, so like all these planets can look different. Like, I mean, I figure this planet that we see in this, because I don't think it got named yet, is like if Coruscant is like
unnamed planet.
Yeah, like Manhattan or like in LA or something like that, where it's like did you guys know the entire city is a planet? Our entire planet is a city. Flip that, reverse it.
There you go.
Maybe this mountain. Entire planet is a suburb.
Is suburbs,
but it's like a moon of Coruscant. So like the moons are the suburbs. Like,
that is no moon.
That's just Manny Jacinto's butt.
It's the burbs.
Yeah, there you go. We see Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I like this. It's like this use of practical effects combined with CGI, which again gives it kind of like that emblem, Super 8, J.J. Abrams, and then like we were saying, E.T. Like even a little bit of like Hook vibes going on there too.
Absolutely, yeah.
But like Goonies too, because I mean that is technically emblem adjacent with Spielberg writing the story of the Goonies. Maybe we get OB in here from
we better
from Marvel. That'd be cool. Although
that jacket with the boxing glove, that better happen.
Well, Ki-Hu Kwan is doing a bunch of Disney stuff now because he's doing a voice. Samson, I'll talk about this more on a different podcast, but yeah, he's doing a voice.
And you better say holy SHIT thing.
Nice. I would like to see him. He said he'd like to do Star Wars too, so I would like to see him in a Star Wars thing.
He's won his Oscar. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah, he can do. I would like to see him everywhere, all at once.
Everywhere, all the time, all at once.
Yes. Yeah. So like, and then like Jude Law in this too, it's like very, very kind of mysterious about exactly what's going on with this guy. And then is he a Jedi? Is he just a Force user? I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. He sure seems like he's a Jedi.
Is Ahsoka canon?
But
is
what?
If Ahsoka's not canon, then there are no Force users outside of the Jedi.
Oh.
They don't exist.
Acolyte's canon. Ahsoka's canon.
Oh yeah, Acolyte, not Ahsoka. My bad.
Yeah. But I think
wrong hate.
No worries. I think there was that seaweed dude. You remember that seaweed dude?
Salad the Hut?
No, Sailed the Hut from season 3. Yeah, old Greg. Old Greg sailed the Hut from season 3 of
He's
Mando.
on the makeup now.
I think he is in Skeleton Crew because I think the time period for this is
it when he was a crouton?
Yes, it is meant to be old Kelpie bastard. Is around this same Ahsoka Mando time.
If he's in this
point of time.
It's no longer the Goonies. It's Pirates of the Caribbean in space.
Well, I mean, the Goonies. What were they going after?
Yeah, but they weren't in the Caribbean.
They were going after the same thing that everybody likes. Manny Jacinto on the Acolyte. They were going after One-Eyed Willie.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the booty.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yeah, booty. One-Eyed Willie and booty traps. That's what I said. Booty traps.
Slippery slope we're on.
It's just like his slippery shoes.
And then you slide down that tunnel into the canyon.
Yeah, and then you fight the squid that's from a deleted scene, or sorry, the octopus.
The octopus.
Yeah, the octopus from the deleted scene. And then you find the rubies in your pocket. Anyways, but yeah, I think this looks cool. Space. It's got like subtle nods to John Williams-esque music.
Yeah,
that is one thing I will say. Go ahead, you first.
I was just going to say, it's one thing I thought they did really well in that trailer is the music captures that, childhood wonderment, but also the Star Wars feel.
I was expecting. I kept thinking, I was like, "Is this Harry Potter or is this Star Wars?" When the music was playing, I don't know. I don't know why I heard like Hedwig's theme.
Well, I mean, Dumbledore's there, and John Williams.
True.
So
there you go. Might as well be Harry Potter.
Yeah.
In space.
You can that's what the twist is that Jude Law isn't a Jedi, he's a wizard.
There you go.
He's a wizard, Harry.
Obi-Wan, that old space wizard. Huh? And
this is how we go from Dumbledore being a sharp-dressed man to
the robes.
Man with beard.
Because he's got Jedi robes.
There you go. We figured it out.
Side note from everybody at the Holdo Maneuver, J.K. Rowling sucks. Anyways, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Skeleton Crew.
That's why Acolyte got canceled, because they had to link it to Harry Potter.
I mean, Disney could buy it if they wanted to, I guess.
Anyways, they should have connected it more to Freaky Friday and
Freakier Friday. Freakier Friday.
Well, the first one still exists.
Well, next time, folks.
Hey, Manny Jacinto is in Freakier Friday.
He's in Freaky Friday too.
Is he?
I don't care.
I don't recall Mark.
Like he's in Freakier Friday.
I don't think he was alive when. Well, maybe he was. He's probably the same age as. No,
is he younger than Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he probably would have been like in middle school, in the timeline of Freaky Friday, maybe. But yeah, he's in Freakier Friday.
Yeah.
Someone else I know is also in Freakier Friday too, so I'm looking for that. But there's also going to be another Star Tours update.
Yeah,
he is 1 year younger than Lindsay Lohan.
So Dave Filoni. Oh, okay, awesome. Thanks for checking.
Yeah, it's because Filipinos don't age.
At the Saturday night at D23 was they called it the Disney Experiences Showcase, and so this is where they made all the theme park announcements, but also they made some announcements about Disney's involvement with Fortnite, with Epic Games, and so they brought out Jennifer Lee for Disney Animation Studios, Pete Docter for Pixar, Kevin Feige for Marvel, and Dave Filoni then was there too. And they were all talking about how all four of those businesses or IPs were gonna be involved with Fortnite. And then Dave Filoni just said, "Oh, and by the way," it was kind of a great drop. It's like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna be revising the movie, the ride for the Millennium Falcon attraction."
Oh yeah,
and it's going to have the Mando and Grogu in it. So they showed a picture, some concept art, and like Mando's flying. You can see him outside the window there of the Millennium Falcon, out of the cockpit. Anyway, they didn't really give many details, but that's coming. So I think everybody's speculating that's probably going to be in 2026, around when the movie comes out. When they're going to roll that.
Is that going to be like a thing where like you get either the Chewbacca version or the Mando version?
No, they didn't say. So who knows? I want
to know the story reason why Mando would be correlated to be doing anything with the Millennium Falcon.
I wonder if they're going to change the timeline or do something.
Break canon. Canon doesn't exist anymore. Acolyte destroyed it.
Yeah, I wish I had more details. Literally, that's all they did. I mean, it was just kind of like this mic drop, moment.
Season 3.
But there's
Mando.
He goes to the War Between Worlds,
the New Republic, and instead of Zeb, he's going to have a mission where he has to fly with Han Solo.
And it's Alden Ehrenreich.
There you go.
There we go.
So,
and that's how we make Solo 2 happen.
Yeah, make Solo 2 happen
in the Millennium Falcon ride. That's how it happens.
It's actually what Mando and Grogu is all about. His Solo 2.
Mandalorian and Grogu Solo. That's what it's called. Mandalorian and Grogu Solo.
Solo Cup.
Red Solo Cup. There you go. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Just because I'm assuming they have to tie Hondo into it somehow, since he's has that physical animatronic as part of the ride there.
He's a bounty hunter. Han always has a bounty on his head.
Yeah. I mean, because Hondo could just be working with Din Djarin, I guess, since they're kind of.
He's not dead yet in Mando time.
Yeah. Curious
about that. 4 times.
But yeah, they're doing more Star Tours.
It's not the now time.
Bits in there too with Ahsoka. So like there's spots in that they're gonna have like the Purgle that are gonna be.
They do. They have it. I went to Disneyland too while I was down there. That for D23, and I rode on Star Tours, and that you rode.
You got the Ahsoka one?
I got the Ahsoka one, and you ride with the Purgle, and I don't know how random it was because I only went on it once. But anyway, I was happy at least I got that one.
I feel like they probably put the newer ones into like a higher amount of rotations, like once they're added in there, just so people can get those more often.
Yeah.
It is nice, like when you go, and then if you go like on 4 different times to actually get all different, because you could go on that ride 5 different times and get like 5 different experiences.
Yeah, you get all these different experiences, which is what's pretty fun about it. And so I wonder if that's what they're going to do with the Millennium Falcon, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
I guess they know, and they'll tell us.
Yeah, I am glad they're not as rigid to the timeline that they originally were skewing to for Galaxy's Edge, because it was supposed to be in between episodes 8 and 9. Like that's what the timeline was. And then they've kind of just thrown that out the window recently with a lot of the characters that they've put in there for the meet and greets. By like they have Sabine, that Hera, the Mando and Grogu, Chopper. I think Chopper was there with Hera. I don't know if they did they had Ahsoka there too. I don't think they did Ezra, but I know they did Sabine.
He was still lost. He wasn't back yet.
That's true.
They need to find more space whales.
They got to do a Zeb, like a Zeb character. That'd be cool. Put Zeb with Chewbacca, and then you could have what Chewbacca was originally a concept art of, next to what Chewbacca ended up being, was Zeb and Chewbacca. That'd be cool. And then outside of that, they announced some more merchandise, which was an R6 D23 astromech droid and a Star.
I see what they did there.
Yeah, yeah. And a Starspeeder 3000 playset. And those were only.
How big is this
How much
playset?
were those, Mark? I never got into that particular store, but people were buying those, and they were huge. Like, the box was huge. Like, I don't know how you'd even get. You have to buy a separate suitcase for it.
I am sure if I look them up on the secondhand market now, they would probably be way.
I mean, were they like $300 or something? You know, they're at the con.
I mean, I want to doubt it.
I don't know. I never talked to anybody.
I
never talked to anybody who bought one, but I, you know, holy cow, people were walking around with those giant bags. You know, that you could see that's what they had.
I would base it off of, like, you know, like with the lightsabers or the droids, or like those kind of collectibles, like what the pricing is like for those who buy those at like Galaxy's Edge. You know, like how the lightsabers are like $150 to $200, or if you buy like one of like the legacy ones, how they can be cheaper because you don't have to get the blade with it. So they're probably like $200, $300 depending on how big things. The astromech thing was probably cheaper because I think that was just like a 12-inch thing.
Yeah.
Like
these were like literally. I mean, the boxes were like 3.5 feet long. You know, by
because I think the speeder is supposed to like be like this huge, like imagine the opening shot of not Star Wars but Spaceballs. And it's that
she's gone from blow to suck to blow.
It's the other way around.
Yeah, I had it right the first time.
I knew it. I was surrounded by assholes. But yeah, did anybody look that up while we were talking about that?
I looked it up, and you can get it anywhere from $1,500 to used $25.
Jesus Christ!
So,
yeah,
how it got so used within a week?
I mean, wow.
Yeah, 13.
I don't know if
and for people that might not know what the Star Speeder, it's the ride vehicle from Star Tours.
And it's from the OG Star Tours.
Mm-hmm.
So it was painted blue and white. And then it plays like the original.
It plays the full ride
of the original one, you know, of the
with Paul Rubens in there,
models. You know? Yeah.
Paul Rubens.
DJ Rex. Well, now DJ Rex, formerly Pilot Rex, but now he's the DJ over there.
He's over there in the cantina. Yeah.
But that thing was ginormous. I think that's cool though that it plays like the entire original.
Yeah, I was curious to know. I mean, I really should have chatted somebody up who had one. I was just like, oh my gosh, and the shopping was tricky because they had a virtual queue. You couldn't. I think a couple of the stores they would let you wait in line, but you wouldn't really want to because it'd be super long, you know. So they had this virtual queue where you just log in, you know, you're on your phone, you get in line, and then it gives you a time when you can go shop. And I was just doing other stuff, you know. I didn't.
There's a thing about cons, it's lines / queues.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You have to choose. You have to choose which queues, you know, like what you mostly want.
I think there's a Simpsons joke where it's like queue the ride, and it's like
the wait in line ride.
Yeah, you're just waiting in line, and then you get to the end of the line. That was the ride.
Millhouse gets off and goes, "That was great."
That's exactly it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything as at least as far as like Star Wars Lucasfilm is.
A couple of things I want to mention, if I may. So,
sure.
You know, you talked about Andor. So Diego Luna was there. And again, same thing. He didn't have much to say. They showed some clips, and that was cool. And then Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige were there, and they were there for the weekend because I saw them at a couple of different other things, a couple of different panels.
Contractual obligation,
right? But they showed some concept art and some stuff going on with the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So, you know, people seemed excited about it. The crowd seemed to be into it, but also, I mean, it was cool that just they were there, you know. And then at the convention center on the show floor, every Disney business unit has like a big pavilion kind of thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, Mark and we can talk about the animation stuff because there was some really cool stuff there. But Lucasfilm at their pavilion, they had constructed a portion of the volume.
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
AKA they would call it the ILM stagecraft, and it was it wasn't a full semicircle, but it was mostly, semicircle. And they did these demos.
Yeah, I saw Giacchino post something where he was like being searched. And he's like, I guess I didn't get that score done in time, or something like that.
That was really impressive. Just to see that in person, just the high def of it, and then also they kept it exposed in the back so you could watch. There was a line for it, but also to their credit, they had it just open, so you could just like in the aisles, you could just like look into there and see it.
That's cool.
If you got into it, you of course got closer to it. You can see more of the demo, and then you got like a pin or some swag. So I didn't get the swag, but I got to have the experience. I got to see it. So that was cool. That was really cool to me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think they had a bunch of like not ride vehicles, but like vehicle like Disney vehicles.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up. So yeah, they had all these different vehicles, most of them automobiles from Disney and Fox movies. And then they also had Rey's speeder from The Force Awakens, which was
Flash
cool.
drive.
Yeah, the flash drive.
But I'd seen that before, and I can't remember where. Was that in launch?
They had it like, speaking of the ESPN zone and Rainforest Cafe. They used to have it out.
Oh yeah,
in front
of there. Yeah. That's right. I'd seen it before. But anyway, that was cool. And also, I think they had characters, just models from the Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
at the Disney Plus. It was in the Disney Plus pavilion, and I didn't go in there. That was a mob scene, so I don't know if there was necessarily a line, but I didn't go in there. Honestly, one of the big draws was Bluey. Bluey.
Not surprised.
People were going crazy over Bluey. Anyway,
not surprised.
Yeah.
When are they going to do a Bluey Star Wars crossover?
I mean, Natalie Portman is in Bluey, so.
Oh, and one other final thing on Disney. So Harrison Ford was in the house because he was promoting Captain America, Brave New World. But then also, Disney,
big old
he got that Disney.
And he probably told David Blaine to get the hell out of his house.
Get out of here! Exactly. But Harrison Ford and John Williams got the Disney Legend Award.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was cool. John Williams sadly wasn't there, but Harrison Ford was, and so that was also.
Like, I don't need to come here for this.
I know. Well,
I'm 100 years old.
I know. I was gonna say I was actually kind of worried. I was hoping to see him, in person, even though it was just been, that
probably compose the music for the Legends.
92.
92. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
anyway, he wasn't
Dick Van
there.
Dyke's like 98.
Yeah, good point.
But yeah.
Anyway, thank you for letting me bring those up. Those were cool things at the expo.
I know they had the lost Dharma van there, which is Star Wars adjacent because Hurley was trying to write Empire Strikes Back. Some like it Hoth.
That's right.
Some like it Hoth. But yeah. Also, there was a truck there that is like a space shuttle that delivers pizza. I think it's a Pizza Planet truck.
Pizza Planet.
Our friend Mark.
Never heard of it.
Yeah. PizzaPlanetTruck.com. But yeah, I think that does it for all of the news from San Diego Comic-Con from this year and D23 this year. Where can people find you online, Justin? If you want them to find you, if you don't want them to find you, where should they look other places?
I am on the Instagrams and the threads under Beef Miniature Gaming.
Nice.
I don't post much, if anything, but that's where
quality over quantity.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure. Nice. I follow that motto.
Yeah. That's why Mike doesn't post at all.
That's right.
Or just repost. Right. what I post as the other channels.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. And how about you, Stanford? Except outside of Animation Fascination, where's the other place can people find you?
So on Twitter /X, I'm at Stanford Clark, but I'm not on there all the time. I'm on Instagram at movies PAP as movies past and present, and at moviespastandpresent.com is where you can find my movie podcast.
Nice. And then for us at this podcast, you can find us at if you're a good speller,
Nope.
holdomaneuver.com.
Nope.
If you are Mike, holdopod.com.
I always spell Holdo Maneuver, and
It doesn't work.
That's probably where some of the deep thinkers have bought websites to, have their theories that make people go neurotic at. But I think that will do it for this episode. And
maybe
if all fails, we want to thank George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Oh my! Thank the maker.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.